Y'all, the Hollywood tea is boiling today because Hugh Jackman has officially had enough of Ryan Reynolds. For years, we've all watched their so-called bromance, thinking it was just friendly banter. But turns out, Hugh isn't laughing anymore. Word on the street is that Ryan's so-called jokes were actually straight-up bullying, and Hugh is done covering for him. And here's the kicker. It's not just Hugh. From directors to co-stars to makeup artists, more and more people are coming forward, revealing that Ryan has been making their lives a living nightmare behind the scenes. But what exactly pushed Hugh to finally speak out? Why is Hollywood turning against Ryan Reynolds? And could this be the final nail in the coffin for his career, especially after the Blake Lively disaster? Let's get into it. Let's start with the nastiest part of this whole mess. Ryan Reynolds thinks he can end people's careers whenever they don't bow down to his every demand. According to a shocking revelation, Ryan threatened to blacklist a makeup artist for life, all because they weren't available for Deadpool reshoots. A Hollywood insider revealed, Ryan Reynolds told the makeup artist, "If you don't come back and do my makeup, you will never work in Hollywood again." And y'all, this makeup artist wasn't even refusing to work with him. They were literally out of the country on another project. But in Ryan's world, if someone doesn't drop everything for him, they become his personal enemy. Even studio executives couldn't stop him. The insider confirmed Fox executives were frustrated, but Ryan had already taken full control of the movie, so they had no choice but to comply. That's next-level power tripping. But guess what? This toxic behavior isn't new. Ryan has been doing this for years, and that's where Hugh Jackman comes in. For a while, Hugh played along with the feud for the cameras, but behind the scenes, he was dealing with Ryan's nonsense firsthand. And now sources say Hugh is getting dragged into the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni lawsuit. And if this lawsuit goes to trial, Hugh will be forced to testify. An industry insider spilled, Hugh will be deposed. There's no way around it. And he knows exactly what Ryan has been up to.
As Miller himself later admitted, it became clear that Ryan wanted to be in control of the franchise. You can work that way as a director quite successfully, but I can't. Translation? Reynolds was such an impossible nightmare to work with that the director of the first film would rather walk away from a successful franchise than deal with Ryan's ego for another movie. That's not just a creative difference, that's a flashing red warning sign about someone's character. So here's where things get messy. We've already established that Ryan now has full creative control of Deadpool, right? He can basically do and say whatever he wants, and chances are people are going to just roll with it. Well, apparently fans have spotted something interesting about the Nicepool character. You know, the nicer version of Deadpool. Is this overreaching? You be the judge. But either way, this is where Hugh Jackman gets dragged into the mess. As Wolverine, he had to stand by while Reynolds used their movie as a personal vendetta platform. If the Nicepool character was meant to mock Baldoni, then it's safe to say that everyone on set knew it. So Hugh was forced to participate in what was essentially workplace bullying disguised as comedy. And sources close to Jackman say he was deeply uncomfortable with this, especially since he himself had no beef with Baldoni. But because Reynolds had taken full control of the movie, Hugh had no choice but to go along with it or risk being iced out himself. But if you think Reynolds only terrorizes people behind the camera, think again. His co-stars have been getting the same toxic treatment for years. Take Morena Baccarin, who played the female lead in the first Deadpool movie. Notice how she was basically sidelined in the sequel. Apparently that wasn't a coincidence. Instead of handling a creative difference like a professional, Reynolds decided to completely erase her from the promotional materials. Someone close to the production crew came forward and said, Ryan thinks she's overbearing, so she's basically grounded now. This is straight up retaliation, and it shows exactly how Reynolds treats people who dare to disagree with him.
Which means Ryan is sweating bullets, because Hugh could expose everything. And this isn't the first time Ryan has bullied someone out of Hollywood. Remember Tim Miller, the director of the first Deadpool movie, the movie that put Ryan back on the map? Well, he mysteriously disappeared from the sequel, and now we know why. Ryan wanted total creative control. Tim later admitted, Ryan wanted to be in control of the franchise, and you can work that way as a director, but I can't. I don't mind debating creative choices, but if I can't win any of them, I don't want to play.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out.
The situation got so bad that Ferguson refused to even act with this person anymore.
This person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, "You call yourself an actor, this is what I have to work with. What is this?" And I would cry walking off set.
But then she finally stood up for herself.
The next day I walked on and I said, "You get off my set." You can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again. I was so scared. I feel...
While Ferguson never named names, the timeline and cast list make it pretty obvious who she was talking about. And Hugh Jackman, having now worked extensively with Reynolds, has likely witnessed similar behavior firsthand. Remember that cringy promotional skit for It Ends With Us that had nothing to do with the actual movie? Hugh was roped into that mess and forced to play along with Reynolds' mean-spirited mockery of Baldoni. In the clip, Hugh delivered lines that were clearly meant to bully Baldoni.
No. It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband and me as his best mate.
Holy shit.
I've never done an interview before, but I've done a lot of things, like crazy things in Australia. You do understand you can't even get into preschool unless you take a person's life with your own bare hands. Twice.
Totally.
So listen, I've just got one question. What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddy's wife?
Translation: Ryan was such an entitled nightmare that the director of the first film walked away rather than deal with him again. And this is exactly why people believe that the nice pool character in Deadpool and Wolverine was Ryan's way of mocking Justin Baldoni. If that's true, it means Hugh Jackman was literally forced to participate in a public bullying stunt, and sources say he was not okay with it. An insider shared, Hugh had no issue with Justin, but Ryan had total control of the movie. He had no choice but to go along with it, or risk being iced out himself. And speaking of people Ryan iced out, let's talk about Marina Baccarin, who played the female lead in the first Deadpool movie. Fans were shocked when her role was basically erased from the sequel. And now, insiders are revealing Ryan was the one who made sure she disappeared. Why? Because he didn't like her. A crew member spilled, Ryan thinks she's overbearing, so she was basically grounded. Grounded? What is this, high school? But it gets even worse. TJ Miller, who played Weasel, finally exposed Ryan for being a total jerk on set. He revealed, Ryan was horrifically mean to me, and not in a joking way. He would humiliate me in front of the entire crew. At one point, Ryan literally turned to him on set and said, "You know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. You just do enough exposition to be funny, and then we can get back to the real movie." And that's when TJ realized, Ryan loves putting people down. And now, Hugh Jackman has seen the pattern, and he wants out. But the drama doesn't stop there, because Hugh isn't the only one who's cut ties with Ryan. Remember when Ryan and Jake Gyllenhaal were inseparable, doing every interview together, acting like best friends? Well, that friendship is dead. Jake now refuses to talk about Ryan, and when he was recently asked about him, he shut it down completely. An insider spilled, after filming Life in 2017, Jake saw Ryan's true colors and decided he wanted nothing to do with him. And it turns out Ryan's ego was so out of control that even Rebecca Ferguson couldn't handle it. She worked with Ryan on Life, and later revealed she had a horrible experience with a co-star who was insecure and angry. While she never named names, the details match up exactly with what others have said about Ryan. She revealed, this person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, "You call yourself an actor? This is what I have to work with?" She was so traumatized, she refused to film with this person ever again. I told them, "Get off my set. I never want to see you again." And guess what? Now Hugh Jackman is stuck in the middle of the storm. Because if this lawsuit goes to court, Hugh will have two choices: tell the truth about Ryan and end their friendship publicly. Lie under oath to protect him. And let's be real, Hugh isn't about to risk perjury for Ryan Reynolds. At this point, Ryan's fake nice guy image is falling apart fast. And with Hugh Jackman potentially testifying, more co-stars speaking out, and Hollywood finally turning against him, Ryan might finally be getting the karma he deserves. So what do y'all think? Is Hugh finally done protecting Ryan? And is this the beginning of the end for Reynolds' Hollywood career? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because trust me, this drama is far from over.